For the next few minutes, we are gonna warn you. The facts are gruesome, but as you will see, daring escapes are not only attempted in the American legal system, as we heard over Russia. Check out the most daring and outrageous escapes from court cam, including a Russian man who attempts to sneak out through a ceiling and much more. Leonid Greiser. This is 18-year-old Leonid Greiser, who is on trial in Moscow, Russia for the murder of his sister Ariada Korol. According to the defendant, he was commanded by Satan to kill his 21-year-old sister, who he stabbed multiple times. Today, Greiser is in the Sherbinksy courthouse behind the walls of a glass cage. This practice is rarely seen today outside of Russia to prevent the dangerous criminal from attacking or possibly even escaping, which is exactly what Greiser planning to do. Now it appears Greiser calms down, but a moment later he somehow slipped through the slats at the top of the bulletproof security dock. A gap in the video does not reveal how he did it. But if we look again, officers consider opening the box to stop him, but Greiser is way ahead of them. One officer strokes him. He is not giving up. The female officer runs over and presses a large button on the wall calling for backup. Greiser's pants are coming off during the escape. The officer has a firm grip on Greiser's leg and is not about to let go. Then another officer arrives. At this point, these Russian officers are not playing around. As the taser comes out, he makes sure about what is about to happen. They gave Greiser a warning, but he determined to get free. The god shocks him, and then again. Finally, Greiser gives up and lands back in his cage. Once he is able to put his clothes back on, Greiser goes on to make a full confession for his sister's murder, adding that he has zero regrets about what he did. Diego Martinez. This is 28-year-old Diego Martinez, a dangerous individual charged with terroristic threats and stabbing a man. He is just leaving the Benton County Circuit Court after a bond hearing. His bail was set at a hefty $100,000. Our guess is that this did not sit too well with Diego at all. As he is leaving the courthouse with a line of other inmates, Martinez scopes his window of opportunity, and with only handcuffs but without leg shackles, the chase is on. Let's have another look when Martinez first takes off. He sees both guards and takes off in pursuit before one realizes that Martinez is not the only inmate they are transporting back to the prison. Martinez, though, is in the wind. Look here as he sprints across the parking lot. The second deputy is not far behind, right on his tail. Martinez, with freedom in his sight, hopes a fence surprisingly well for a man in handcuffs and looks like he might almost be out of sight. At least for now. As it turns out, Martinez was appended that day after hiding under a citizen's house and then reported to a local deputy. Martinez was recaptured and had his bail increased to $500,000, added a third-degree escape to his rap sheet, or for an afternoon of freedom. Oh dear. Renard Neal. This is Renard Neal. Mr. Neal was scheduled to stand trial on previous charges such as theft and fleeing officers, for which he had been released on bond. He did not show up for the court at his previous hearing, and so had been picked up after a bench warrant was issued the previous day. Here were C. Neal present in Fayette County Jail courtroom to stand trial on previous charges where Judge Sams tell deputies to take him into custody for failure to appear. But Neal does not like the sound of that and makes a daring attempt to flee, and just like that, he is gone. Tumbling through the adjacent courtroom, onlookers, I can't believe their eyes were Neal barging through a doorway and damaging it. Neal then weaves past another guard heading for his escape down a staircase. He can almost taste sweet freedom at this point. Closing on the first point exit, sliding beneath the entry barriers, we see Neal disappear off screen with officers in hot pursuit. As with most escapes, this one didn't last long, as he was apprehended not long after and brought back to court to face even more charges. Renard Neal was charged with felony obstruction, simple battery escape, and interference with government property, along with a bench warrant issued the previous day. He ended up with 10 years FICE more than if he would not make that dash for freedom. Rayton Woodford. This next case is Rayton Woodford. Here you see Rayton at Jefferson County Circuit in Louisville, Kentucky. He is here for a probation revocation hearing, having violated the terms of a drugs and weapon charge. Behind him, you see his girlfriend, and during his hearing, a detective provides testimony in the case. Once the detective concludes the testimony, the camera remains locked onto the empty witness chair as the judge reads out his decision. Ford's girlfriend is destroyed, and you can hear her crying in the back of the court. She even asked a judge if she can give them a hug, and the judge reptiles no. Rayton decides to book it. You can hear his girlfriend wailing and pleading with him to stop. Deputies make sure this was a quick and very unsuccessful escape, but shocking nonetheless. although the judge did not seem too impressed with Woodford antics, that's for sure. Nicholas Garrison. This is 34-year-old Nicholas Garrison. He has been trailed at the Highland County Court in Greenfield, Ohio, arrested on possession of methamphetamine. Garrison was due to be sentenced when he made the rash decision to try and flee, and with that, Nicholas Garrison was on the move. We can see that Garrison waits for the opportune moment to dart as both guards briefly turn their backs. He would ask between the two closest to him and manages to squeeze by the third deputy in the room and sparking a wild chase. Right outside the room, Garrison speeds down the stairs, where Officer Ben Rhino can be seen diving behind him in an attempt to foil the escape. Garrison slipped by as Freedom gets one step closer with Officer Ben down. Injured from his fall, Garrison breaks free and completes his escape outside. He managed to elude Pleased for Police for a relatively impressive 4 days before being captured, and now finding himself in much deeper water. Escape added the list of charges. Officer Ben suffered from 4 broken ribs and a minor concussion with his close dive towards Garrison on the stairs. He made a full recovery, so we will give him an A for effort. With that, we have come to the end of this video. If you liked this video, then make sure to give it a thumbs up. For more videos like this, click on the links you see on the screen. We will come back again with more content. Until then, goodbye.